Welcome back, friends. I am Dr. Gangadhar Mishra. Once again, welcome to the video lecture series on VLSI and embedded system. Today, we will look after static logic circuits. So, our talk flow will be basically first we'll know what is static logic. Second, the general architecture of any static logic, followed by few design and their analysis, and finally we will look after the advantages and limitations of the static logic circuits. To begin with, we must know what is the static logic circuit. So, any logic circuit which comprises of CMOS, where at every point of time the output is connected to either the supply VDD or ground, is known as a static logic circuit. Here the output of the gates assume at all times the value of the Boolean function implemented by the circuit in accordance to the present input conditions. That is, the output is always available irrespective of during the transient condition. The output is evaluated, and once the transient phase is over, the output is stabilized at a particular state, that is logic 0 or logic 1. So, first we will see the generic circuit of a static logic. So, as we can see in the right side diagram, the static logic circuit comprises of two segments. One is the pull-up network, second is the pull-down network. So, what is pull-up network? As the name states, when that part of the network is active or in the conduction state, our output is driven to logic 1, that is plus VDD state. And the pull-down network, when it is active, it will brought down the output to logic 0 state or grounded state. So, the pull-up network comprises of PMOS transistors and the pull-down network consists of NMOS transistors. The transistors configuration in the pull-up network and pull-down network are complementary to each other. That means, if in the pull-down network we got series connections, so equivalent parallel connections will be available at the pull-up network and vice versa. In pull-down network, the AND function is implemented by the series configuration and the OR function by the parallel configuration. So, according to the Boolean function, we need to design our pull-up and pull-down network and connect both the networks as per this given specification. Now, we will look for some basic examples of gates or implementation of gates in this static logic. With this, we will start up with our most basic gate, that is the inverter. So, as shown in the right side figure, the inverter consists of two transistors, one PMOS in the pull-up network here. This is our pull-up network. So, the PMOS transistor in the pull-up network and NMOS transistor in the pull-down network. So, these two transistors are connected in series where their gates are interconnected or sorted and the output is Vout. So, let us see how the connections are made and how it responds to the input criteria. As there is a single input condition, it may be possible, it may be at logic 1 state or logic 0 state. So, let us see for whatever input condition how the output is driven. So, for logic 0 condition, let us initially see the first input condition. For logic 0 condition, when logic 0 or grounded state is given to the input, logic 0 or grounded state is given to the input, at that point of time the NMOS transistor in the pull down network is in cutoff region of operation. So we can assume it is a open circuit case. So there is no path for the ground to reach the output terminal. At the same point of time, the PMOS transistor in the pull-up segment will be in the conduction state. So once it is driven into the conduction state, it offers a low resistance. As a result, this VDD will be available at the Vout. So if this VDD will be available at the Vout, then we may say our output Vout will be at logic 1 state. So let's see the second case, that is input is logic 1. So logic 1 means, let's say it is plus VDD. We apply plus VDD over input. So at this condition, our NMOS transistor is driven to the conduction state and PMOS to the cutoff state. As a result, what happens? If the PMOS is driven to the cutoff state, it offers a very high impedance path for the VDD to reach Vout. So VDD will not be able to reach the Vout point, but due to the conduction state of this NMOS transistor, the ground will be available at the Vout. So the Vout will be driven to the logic 0 state. So we can see our truth table is verified in accordance to the operating conditions. So let's see the next condition, next gate. So next we will assume a bit higher configuration complexity, that is the 2 input NAND gate. In the previous case we have a single input case, now we will analyze a 2 input case. So in case of this NAND gate, there are 2 inputs, let's say A and B. These A and B are the input conditions, and as we have discussed in the first slide, for any AND function we need a series configuration in the NMOS side and a parallel configuration in the PMOS side. So I think we must be clear about the configuration part. So now let's check its functionality. For 2 input conditions, there are 4 possible input combinations, that is 0 0 state, 0 1 state, 1 0 state and 1 1 state. So one by one we will see the operating of this gate for all the 4 possible input variations. So first, for logic 0 0 input conditions, under these operating conditions A is 0, B is 0. So let's assign the values at the inputs. So for all these input conditions, we can see input 0 means it is grounded. So when the base or gate of the transistor is grounded, at this point the transistor, NMOS transistors, that is, let's give their name for our general discussions. So let's give its N1, N2, P1 and P2. So under this applied input condition, both N1 and N2 will be in the cutoff state. P1, P2 both will be driven to the conduction state. As a result, the output will be driven to logic 1 state, as the PMOS transistors give a low resistance path from VDD to the output, and the NMOS transistors are cut off. Therefore, the ground path is not been able to reach our output. As a result, the output is driven to the logic 1 state. Now, the second operating condition, that is A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 1. So under this operating condition, let's see, when A is equal to 0, N1 is driven to the cutoff state, B is equal to 1, N2 is in the conduction state. When P1 A is equal to 0, P1 in conduction state and P2 in cutoff state. As a result, we can see as N1 and N2 are in series configuration, although N2 is in conduction state, but due to the cutoff state of N1, the high resistance path will be available from ground to output. So it will not be having any scope for logic 0 output. Let's see the pull-up network. Here P1 is in conduction state, P2 is in cutoff state. As a result, a low resistance path from VDD to output is available through P1, and the output will be driven to the logic 1 state. So both condition 1 and condition 2 are satisfied. Now let's go for the third condition, that is A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 0. So let's assign the values. So now let's check the output conditions. So for the input conditions of A is equal to 1, B is equal to 0, your N1 is driven to the conduction state, N2 to the cutoff state, P1 to the cutoff state and P2 to the conduction state. Under these operating condition, as we have seen in the previous case, the output will be driven to positive VDD supply and it will be at logic 1 state, and the circuit will be completed through P2 to Vout, and this path will be cut off. The third condition also now satisfied. Now the last one, that is 1-1 input condition for A1 B1. Let's see what happens. So now when A is equal to B is equal to 1, under this operating condition, N1 and N2 are driven to the conduction state, P1, P2 both to the cutoff state. As a result, the VDD does not find any low resistance path to the output terminal, whereas this ground VSS finds a low resistance path and the output is drained out, and finally we get a logic 0 at the output. So I think the NAND gate is completely satisfying this with this truth table. Yeah, dear friends. So for the first input conditions, logic 0 0 at the input. Let's see. So now A is 0, B is 0, and let's see. The transistors are P2, P1, N1 and N2. So under these operating condition, so the transistor P1 and P2 both are PMOS driven to the conduction state, N1 and N2 are NMOS driven to the cutoff state. As a result, the output will be connected to plus VDD, and the lower ground path through the pull down network will not be available. As a result, your output will be at logic 1 state, that is the plus VDD. So the next operating condition is A is equal to 0, B is equal to 1. A is equal to 0, B is equal to 1. Let's say the transistors are P1, P2, N1 and N2. So for this operating condition, the A is equal to 0, which is fed to the P1 and N1. So if A is 0, P1 in the conduction state, N1 in cutoff state. B is equal to 1, which is fed to the P2 and N2. So as B is 1, P2 will be cutoff, N2 will be conduction. Under this operating condition, what we will find? We will see that the output will be connected to the ground through N2. As a result, our output will be at logic 0 state. Now, the third operating condition, that is A is equal to 1, B is equal to 0. When A is equal to 1, B is equal to 0. Under these operating conditions, let's name the transistors once again: P1, P2, N1 and N2. So, under these operating conditions, when A is equal to 1 being fed to P1 and N1, the N1 will be driven to the conduction, P1 to the cutoff, and as B is 0, which is being fed to the P2 and N2, the N2 will be in the cutoff state and P2 will be driven to the conduction state. Under these operating conditions, there is no scope for VDD to reach the output, whereas the ground will be connected through N1. As a result, we will find a logic 0 state at the output. Now, the last operating condition, that is A is equal to 1, B is equal to 1. So, under this operating condition, so let's see what happens. This is P1, this is P2, this is N1 and N2. So, under this operating condition, when A is equal to 1, your N1 will be driven to the conduction, P1 to cutoff. When B is equal to 1, P2 to cutoff, N2 to conduction. So, here we will find both transistors N1 and N2 are in conduction state. As a result, the output will be directly connected to the ground. So, as a result, we will find output will be at logic 0 state. So, here also we have proved the operation of a NOR gate. So, now it is time to look after the advantages and limitations of the static logic circuit. The first advantage, these are reliable, easy to design and easy to operate. Second, it is characterized by maximum output voltage swing, that is logic 0 state is assigned the ground state and logic 1 state is plus VDD, and it is also having a very high level of noise immunity, that is during the transition it will be having a sharp transition and there is no static power dissipation. So, these all are the advantageous aspect of this CMOS static logic circuits. And now, looking after these limitations, these circuits offer a large capacitance due to involvement of more number of transistors. As we have seen, for constructing a simple inverter, we need one PMOS and one NMOS. So, here the number of transistors are quite higher as compared to the dynamic logic, so that there will be large number of parasitic capacitances involved during the fabrication. Therefore, the dynamic power dissipation and propagation delay will be higher in the case of static logic circuit. So, I think we have completed our discussion on the static logic circuit, and thank you all for joining me.